Hi everyone, Gary Coleshill here. In this webinar today I'm going to show you exactly how to set more appointments, close more sales and enjoy more of what you do every day. Most salespeople are struggling in their business because of an inability to set more appointments. This one area of their business is holding back every other area. Obviously, if we have more opportunities to present our products and services to more prospects, we are going to close more sales and we're going to make more money. After this webinar is over, you're going to know more about setting more appointments and phone selling than 99% of your competition does. And at the end of the webinar, I'm going to tell you how you can get free copies of 4 of my most popular reports. They are Things Not to Say at Any Cost If You Want to Make a Sale, The Top 12 Ways to Hit and Even Exceed Your Goals in a Recession, Getting Past the Gatekeeper, and lastly, Learning to Love Voicemail. These reports are a $47 value each, so their combined value is almost $200. But I'm going to tell you at the end of this webinar how to get them all absolutely free, so make sure you stick around. I promise you that it'll be time well spent. I know that some of my clients are joining us on this webinar because they know my stuff works, because I've already helped them grow their businesses. I also know that we have some people on this webinar who've never heard of me, and you may be thinking, who are you and why should I listen to you? Well, you know, you should listen to me and you should take notes and take action on what I say, because I've had quite a lot of success in telephone selling and setting appointments. For the past 17 years I've consistently earned a 6-figure income working with top national speakers such as Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Tom Hopkins and many more. I say this not to brag, but to give you some idea of my background. I came to the US in the early 1990s with my wife, my son, the family dog and very little money. Not having had the benefit of a university education, I didn't have much chance of getting a great paying job, so I took a telephone appointment setting job with a company that promoted Tom Hopkins seminars. My first year in the business was actually pretty dismal. I only earned a measly $27,000, but I needed to make a success out of my new career, so I soldiered on. Determined to be successful, I read lots of books on selling, listened to tapes and attended the seminars. Now, some of the stuff out there is good, but a lot of it is total garbage written by so-called experts who've never used the phone to sell or to set appointments, and even if they did, it was so long ago as to make what they say pretty much totally redundant. I will shorten your learning curve for you. I'll show you exactly how to increase your phone sales in the shortest time possible. Not only do I know what works and what doesn't from experience, but I'm still actively making hundreds of calls every day. One of the first things that I learned was to study the top producers in the company and do as they do. I asked them for tips. I studied their work habits. I sat behind them when they made calls, and I made notes on what they said and how they said it. If you want to be successful at something, you want to find someone who's already successful, model them and do as they do. In other words, find yourself a mentor and learn from them. And if you like what you hear on this webinar, I'd like to be your mentor and your coach. Anyway, by following the mentor philosophy, pretty soon my sales started to pick up and I edged my way up the sales charts in the office. Within just a few short months of really applying myself, I was the #1 salesperson in the company. Finally, I was making the magical $100,000 figure every year, and often quite a bit more. Telephone selling has provided me with a very nice standard of living, and it can for you too. All that you have to do is take this business seriously, study it and apply what you've learned. For years I've had promoters and sales training gurus try to get me to spill the beans and tell them my secrets, and I've refused. I've worked very, very hard and spent countless hours of trial and error learning what works and what doesn't, and I'm certainly not about to give it away to my competition for free, so I'd like for you to keep what I share with you between you and I. These secret phone strategies are for you to utilize and profit from, so please don't share them with anyone else. Keep them for yourself and use them to build your own business. I've decided to reveal these secrets and techniques that I've learned over the years that have helped me to earn a substantial income, so that you won't have to go through the same painful learning process that I had to. So anyway, let's get started. Now, I recently authored a poll on LinkedIn, which many of you may have seen. The poll question was, what is your major constraint that is holding you back from setting more appointments? The choices were either getting past the gatekeeper, knowing what to say, call reluctance, and dealing with voicemail. The most popular answers in order were dealing with voicemail, followed closely by call reluctance, knowing who to call, and getting past the gatekeeper. So we'll concentrate on those top 4 responses. Firstly, dealing with voicemail. According to our poll, salespeople rate this as being their greatest barrier to success at setting appointments and making sales over the phone. Hard to do either when you can't actually ever seem to get hold of a live human being. To many salespeople, voicemail is the curse of telephone sales and appointment setting. Prospects hide behind it, and they seem to never actually answer the phone. But put yourself in the prospect's shoes for just a moment. People are now busier than ever. They have more and more companies trying harder and harder to get their attention, so they use voicemail as a tool to screen the continuous barrage of marketing that they face every day. They simply don't have the time to listen to every sales pitch from every Tom, Dick and Harry. This gives you a glimpse into the mindset of the prospect and will enable you to structure your approach to them more effectively. And this is precisely where most sales training misses the boat. It's taught like it's a one-size-fits-all kind of thing, and it's not. In my coaching, I'll show you how to dig deep into the mindset of your prospect. When you do that, you're able to speak to them on their level. Start doing that effectively and you'll be able to totally crush your competition. But for now, I'm going to share with you an overview of the framework that will help you use voicemail to get your calls returned and will help you get your prospect on the line the next time you call. Most salespeople leave messages and no one ever calls them back. And if you've been working on the phone for any period of time, you'll know just how frustrating that is. Well, fret no more. You can use voicemail as a tool to make yourself stand out from other salespeople, build stronger relationships with your prospects, get more callbacks, and ultimately close more sales. I'm going to teach you some very powerful psychological triggers and advanced language patterns that will get prospects to actually call you back. A regular message leaving your name, your company, and your phone number is just not going to cut it. You just lump yourself in with every other salesperson trying to get your prospect's attention, and no one is ever going to call you back. The secret of getting calls returned is to use my voicemail triad approach. It says that prospects will only call you back for one of 3 reasons. Firstly, curiosity. You've piqued their interest and intrigued them. They're curious to know more about your offering. Secondly, greed. You offer them something they want, you dangle a carrot under their noses, and they're eager to get it. Therefore, they will call you back. Thirdly, they know, they like, and they trust you. Again, the chances are that they will return your call. If you enroll in coaching with me, I'll share with you how to develop these 3 secret techniques to getting your calls returned and give you powerful voicemail scripts and strategies, including one that studies have shown to have a 62% response rate. In fact, you know what? I'm going to give you that one right now, so grab a pen and write this one down. Okay, here it is. Carefully note the inflection and the deliberate pauses. This should be delivered in a monotone style. Hi, it's Gary Coleshill. I was hoping to catch you in your office for just a minute or 2. I'll be in my office today until 4 p.m. and tomorrow from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. I have a question that, well, only you can answer. My number is, and here you give your cell phone number so that you can answer when they call back, 480-607-0294. Thank you. Now, it's absolutely imperative that you pick up when they call back. If they go into your voicemail or just hang up, you'll have missed your chance. You'll be dead in the water. This is a gutsy script that takes some nerve to use, but used correctly will get you astonishing results. Be prepared, though, for some prospects to be a little bit ticked off when they realize it's a sales call. You'll just have to charm them around by being super friendly. Now, in my early days, I used this technique a lot, but I don't use it so often now as I'm nearly always on the phone and can't always pick up when they return the call. I guess it's pretty obvious, but this technique will only work if the prospect is not familiar with who you are. Anyway, as you can see, some of my techniques are not for the faint of heart. If you want to gain your black belt in voicemail, subscribe to coaching sessions with me for even more game-changing information. Now let's move on to call reluctance. According to our poll, the second greatest barrier to success. Now we all know that the more calls that we make to qualify prospects, the more appointments we'll set and the more sales we'll make. Simple, isn't it? Well, yes, it is simple, but it's not easy. Have you ever had a day when the phone handset feels that it weighs 100 pounds or more and you can't bear the thought of making yet another call? How on earth can you possibly motivate yourself to make the number of calls that you need to make day in and day out to get the kind of results that you need in order to earn the kind of income that you deserve and desire? Well, I have some surefire techniques for staying motivated, committed and focused. Don't spend your day playing catch up. Learn these techniques and be ahead of the game. Here are a couple of things that worked well for me. Firstly, it's absolutely crucial to get to know your numbers and how they work for you. For example, if the average sale makes you $1,000 but will take on average 100 contacts to get, then every contact you make, good or bad, is worth $10 to you. So make 50 calls and you've made $500. Now you can directly see that the more calls you make, the more money you make. In effect, every no that you get brings you that much closer to a yes. Every time someone says no to you, they've just made you $10. Bearing this in mind makes it easier to make the calls that you need to. Also, you might want to try breaking your day into several 1-hour calling blocks. Get hold of a kitchen timer and set it on your desk. Close your door and remove all distractions. Set the timer for 1 hour forward, and for that 1 hour period resolve to totally focus on outgoing calls. Don't check your voicemails or emails and don't return phone calls in that hour. Just totally focus on the task at hand. When the hour's up, take a walk, read a book, or do something else to clear your head for 15 minutes or so, then reset the timer and get back to work. By calling this way in several hour-of-power productive time blocks, you'll be absolutely amazed at how many more contacts you make and how much more productive you'll be. This technique alone is bound to boost your income. Now let's move on to the third most popular answer, knowing who to call. This is a surprising one because it's probably the easiest barrier to overcome if you know how and where to look. But obviously a lot of salespeople don't, and they spend most of their time calling unqualified prospects that don't need, don't want, or can't afford their products. It doesn't matter how many calls you make or how great your presentation is or how great your closing skills are. If you're calling the wrong people, you'll probably never make a serious income and never earn the kind of money that you want. So I will share with you secrets of how to generate leads and effectively prospect that will double and maybe even triple your current pool of qualified prospects. I'm going to show you how to define exactly who your target market is. Grab their attention, connect with them on a deeper level, and stand out from every other salesperson that's trying to get through to them. But firstly, I would suggest this. Take the time to sit down and try to think what characteristics, i.e. age, business, income, location, etc., etc., your best clients have in common. It's very likely that 80% of your business comes from just 20% of your clients, so spend some time getting this right. It will be worth it. Next, use the characteristics that you've identified to try to develop a profile of your ideal client. Okay, now you'll want to develop a list based on this profile. This will enable you to laser target that 20%. These will be your best prospects. In other words, spend some time thinking about just who buys your product or service, then decide what type of person or company makes the best client for you. Use as many criteria as necessary to create your profile. Next, contact a list broker or business information company with your client profile and ask them to create a targeted list of possible clients in your market area. There are many list brokers and leads companies out there. Just take a look in your local phone book or search online. During my coaching sessions, I will share with you some of the most effective resources that I've come across over the past 17 years. Plus, I'll lead you through the exact process of how to build your ideal client profile and use it to create devastatingly effective custom presentations targeted especially to your prospects. But for now, just ask yourself these questions. What common fears and frustrations do your best clients share? If your ideal clients could wave a magic wand, what parts of their business would they change? And how can you and your product or service be part of that solution? Now let's move on to the last constraint, getting past the dreaded gatekeeper. Gatekeepers strike fear into the hearts of the most fearless salespeople, and with very good reason. They have the power to say no, but not the power to say yes to your fabulous offering. You can't get past the gatekeeper, the prospect will never get to know how wonderful your product or service is, and you'll probably never make a sale. But wait, don't despair. The gatekeeper can be defeated when you have some of my techniques at your disposal. Here's one of them which can be especially useful when you don't know the prospect's name. When you call a company and reach the gatekeeper, don't ask for the prospect. Instead, ask for the human resources department. Gatekeepers are used to people calling up asking about jobs, especially in these tough economic times, and will usually put you through, no questions asked. When you get human resources on the line, just ask them to transfer you to the prospect, and they usually will without any hassle. If you don't know the prospect's name, they almost certainly will, and will probably tell you if you ask them nicely. Gatekeepers can also be outwitted by something as simple as an online search. Why bother walking into a right hook from a gatekeeper when all you have to do is go online and search the prospect's name and unearth their direct numbers, their cell phones and email addresses? If you can't find them with a simple internet search, look for them on Facebook and LinkedIn. Try using whosthat.com, a social media search engine. I'm sorry, gatekeepers, times have changed, and the person that you're trying to block access to has all of their contact information out there on the World Wide Web, just waiting to be discovered. We don't have to cross swords with you any longer. We can simply avoid you. And if the internet search doesn't work, I've developed scripts, techniques, and downright sneaky, very effective strategies and tricks to get you past the gatekeeper virtually every time. If you feel that you could be successful if only you could get past the pesky gatekeeper, well, guess what? You can be. Gatekeepers are history. Well, there you have it. Now you can avoid the frustration of dealing with voicemail. You can actually get prospects to return your calls. You'll learn how to stay motivated, avoid burnout, and stay focused on making the calls that you need to make in order to get the kind of results that you want. Discover how to stop wasting your time on deadbeats who don't want, don't need, or can't afford your product or service, and instead find qualified ones that have the need and the money. Lastly, let me teach you how to get past the gatekeeper. To present your product or service directly to the decision maker, who has the power to not only say no, but also to say yes. Learn these solutions and more by having me personally coach you on how to be more effective on the phone. Now, my coaching sessions are normally $198 each and last for approximately 45 minutes. But if you enroll today, I'm going to cut that price in half to $99. Now, about those reports that I mentioned earlier, as an added bonus for registering in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to throw all 4 of them in too. That's a free copy of each of the following reports: things not to say at any cost if you want to make a sale, the top 12 ways to hit and even exceed your goals in a recession, getting past the gatekeeper, and learning to love voicemail. That's a $188 value absolutely free, so that's almost an extra $200 worth of free training if you register in the next 20 minutes. That's almost $400 worth of training for just $99. But hurry, this offer is only good till December the 15th. After that, the prices revert to normal and you won't get the free reports. For those of you that want to register for multiple sessions, I'm going to let you have 4 sessions for just $350. That's a saving of almost $450 off the regular price. Plus, I'll even still throw in the free reports, which, as you will recall, are a $188 value. So with a series of 4 sessions, you pay just $350 and get almost $1,000 worth of training. This offer is also valid only until December the 15th. So hurry, time slots are booking up fast, and because I do these sessions personally, my schedule doesn't take long to fill up. So go to the button at the bottom of the screen and register right now for either one coaching session for $99 or a series of 4 for $350. You now have the chance to learn the same skills that took me 2 decades to learn in just a few short weeks and start to enjoy all of the benefits that phone selling has to offer. Or you can go at it on your own, continue to lose sales in the process and struggling to make just a fraction of what you could be earning if you had this valuable information. So hit the button below the video right now to reserve your spot. I've been in both places, and I'll tell you, if this type of training was available when I first got started in the business, I would have paid pretty much anything to get my hands on it. It's that valuable to what you do as a professional communicator. The clock is ticking, so pick your selection and hit the registration button below right now before your competition does.